Welcome back. Today we're diving into another Nintendo eShop sales roundup that ends very soon. I just wanted to give a final shout out to some of the Black Friday discounts. In Europe, a lot of these deals end on November 30th, but luckily for you North Americans, you have a few more days. But I'll stop wasting time and get straight into it. To kick the list off, I wanted to start with one of the Switch's most acclaimed RPGs, one that really is a modern masterpiece. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is an enormous, emotionally rich adventure that continues Monolith Soft's legacy of ambitious world building. It blends narrative weight with striking scenery, rolling plains, layered biomes, and titanic structures looming across the horizon. The combat system is fluid, strategic, and surprisingly approachable, even if you're not deeply familiar with the series. Like most people, I am really hoping that all three of these games do get their Switch 2 upgrade, and I can only hope that all of this silence either means a new game, or that these updates are in progress. For me personally, the third game is the pinnacle of the series. The character writing is great and the party dynamics feel grounded, the themes are mature and the pacing rarely drags thanks to the steady story beats and memorable side quests. It's a game that even at full price, I can't recommend enough. It is currently £33.29, or your country's equivalent, and this sale ends on November 30th in the UK and Europe and December 4th in North America. While this next game couldn't be any more different, it's still brilliant. Burnout Paradise Remastered brings arcade racing back to its chaotic roots. Paradise City is an open playground of shortcuts, jumps, and wreckable cars, encouraging you to chase speed in almost any direction. On Switch, the 60 FPS performance is a standout. Drifting through intersections or initiating takedowns feels smooth and responsive. The remaster bundles in all previous DLC, meaning you get an enormous vehicle roster and several extra modes. The signature takedown system is every bit as addictive as you remember, and it really takes you back to a time when gaming was simpler. Whether you're chasing time events, discovering hidden jumps, or treating the map like a giant skate park for cars, it delivers fast fun with almost no learning curve and a massive slap of nostalgia. You can easily get about 20 hours of gameplay out of this, and for just £3.99 or your region's equivalent, an 84% discount, you can't argue. This sale ends in November 30th in the UK and Europe and December 4th in North America. But if you prefer your action a little more chaotic and shared with friends, the next pick nails that perfectly. World War Z on the Switch is a surprisingly solid port of the frantic co-op shooter where massive zombie swarms pour across landscapes like tidal waves. Missions in the game take you across multiple countries, each featuring unique objectives, set pieces, and progression paths for your class. The performance of this game really was a huge surprise, even during the huge horde sequences, and playing with friends is genuinely fun. The deluxe edition includes bonus weapon skins and cosmetic packs, adding a little flair as you level up your class roles. What I love about this game is how dynamic each run feels. Enemy placement shifts and your growing loadout keeps things interesting. This really is a go-to co-op pick, online or couch play. And it's currently £11.24 or your currency's equivalent, 75% off until November 30th in the UK and Europe and December 4th in North America. And going back to Nintendo's Black Friday sales, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is the definitive way to experience Atlus's apocalyptic RPG. The reworked story path, updated mechanics, and new demon interactions make the game feel more complete and approachable. The combat still remains as one of the best turn-based systems around, rewarding careful planning and punishing sloppy decisions. The atmosphere and environments are eerie, but beautiful, with jagged landscapes and abandoned structures stretching into the distance. The base game alone was a masterpiece, but with all of the added content that improves pacing and narrative clarity, it really is at the pinnacle of JRPG gaming. And while it is a little more methodical than your general JRPG, I really can't recommend this enough. It has deep party building, elemental strategy, and darker storytelling. It's not the cheapest, but even at £23.99 or your region's equivalent, it's an absolute bargain. And that's 60% off until November 30th in the UK and Europe and December 4th in North America. This next game's a little lighter in tone, but full of personality just as much. The River City Girls delivers a vibrant beat-em-up with punchy combat and a playful anime-inspired aesthetic. The hand-drawn animations give every combo impact, and the soundtrack has an energetic synth-pop vibe that fits the chaotic action perfectly. As you level up, new moves and abilities open up, making combat feel more expressive. The humour leans into comic book absurdity in the best way. Over-the-top bosses, exaggerated facial expressions, and tongue-in-cheek dialogue. The city map encourages light exploration as you hunt for upgrades, side quests, and hidden rooms. Whether solo or co-op, the game feels smooth on the Switch, and loading times are minimal. What I found most playing this game was how much it respects your time. It has a compact, 10-hour campaign that offers the perfect amount of depth beneath its colourful surface. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and you're satisfied when you're finished with it. It's currently 65% off, costing you £9.44 or your regional equivalent. This sale ends on November 30th in the UK and Europe, and December 4th in North America. Up next is Shinobi Art of Vengeance. It embraces classic ninja-style gameplay with a modern polish. The movement is quick and agile, emphasising precision over brute force. Levels are designed around stealth routes, vertical mobility, and deliberate enemy encounters, and the combat in this game is immense. It's tight and responsive, a blend of strikes, dodges, and well-timed abilities that reward patience rather than button mashing. The art direction leans into bold colours and dramatic shadows, giving the game a distinct visual identity that works well on the Switch. It's quite hard to explain, but the satisfaction you get out of this game isn't necessarily winning the fights, but more so mastering the movement and precision of the game. It can be a pretty intense game that might put some people off, but it remains accessible with clean tutorials and forgiving early levels that help you find a rhythm before things really ramp up. It's a smaller discount due to it being a modern release, but at £17.49 and 10 hours of content, it's still a great price. That's 30% off until November 30th in the UK and Europe, and December 4th in North America. Taking things in a more gentle direction, I've got something that's a little more warm, friendly, and quietly imaginative. A Boy and His Blob is a charming puzzle platformer centred around transforming your blob companion into useful tools. Each jelly bean flavour triggers a different form. Ladders, trampolines, shields, and dozens more. It's simple, but the system creates a surprising amount of puzzle variety, and the responsive controls and crisp visuals really give it identity. The hand-drawn art style gives every scene a soft, storybook look, and the soundtrack is relaxing and thought-provoking. It's a structured linear game that's never punishing and always fun to play. It's also one of the few puzzle adventures where the bond between characters plays a meaningful role moment to moment, adding emotional warmth without forcing heavy storytelling. Surprisingly, you can squeeze about 12 hours out of this, and at £7.41, it's a pretty solid deal. That's 45% off until November 30th in the UK and Europe, and December 4th in North America. Even though it's not my favourite genre, I always feel a little obligated to add a Metroidvania. Timespinner captures the spirit of classic Metroidvanias with pixel-perfect sprite art and a clever time-bending mechanic. Switching between eras influences enemy types, environmental state, and platforming routes, adding surprising strategic layers. The combat system feels great. Magical orbs spin around you, which allow you to customize your build and playstyle. The story is more engaging than it initially appears, touching on rebellion, fate, and personal loss. As you would expect from a game like this, the performance on the Switch is flawless, and the compact map design keeps exploration satisfying without overwhelming you, which mainly means no backtracking. It's a tightly made adventure that understands exactly what fans want out of the genre, while still offering a unique twist through its dual timeline structure. It's on the shorter side, with about 8 hours of gameplay, but overall, for £7.49 or your country's equivalent, it's worth picking up. Timespinner is 50% off until November 30th in the UK and Europe, and December 4th in North America. This next one is pretty unique. A more narrative-driven but mechanically unusual game. We land on Beat Cop, a tactical time management game that blends investigation and moral decision-making with a retro 80s-inspired pixel aesthetic. You play as a former detective demoted to street patrol, juggling tickets, crime scenes, and personal dilemmas each day. What makes the game special is how unpredictably each shift unfolds. Random events, shifting priorities, and branching outcomes push you to improvise constantly. The writing is surprisingly gritty and really leans in to that old school cop show feel, with lots of branching paths depending on who you help or ignore. I've seen a few of these games around now and never really tried them, but from my experience with this, I'm probably going to try a few more. It's another game on the shorter side, offering about 8 to 10 hours of gameplay, but for £1.34 or your currency's equivalent, there's really no reason not to give it a go. Beat Cop is 90% off until December 24th in the UK and Europe, and December 17th in North America. And I'm going to end this week's list with an absolute classic. Children of Morta is a unique mix of action-adventure RPG, roguelite, and hack and slash. It follows a valiant family standing together while the world around them is being devoured by darkness. You can play as each family member who offers a very distinct playstyle, from archers to mages to close-range brawlers. What sets it apart is its emotional narrative woven between runs, exploring themes of family, duty, and courage. The combat, as expected, is fluid, colourful, and gradually complex as skills unlock. The biggest draw for me with this game was simply the pixel art. It's stunning, especially during the spell effects and animated cutscenes. The progression feels rewarding even after failed attempts, and the soundtrack enhances the atmosphere with a mix of melancholy and determination. It's a fitting final pick, thoughtful, engaging, and full of heart. An unusually emotional experience for just £2.96 or your region's equivalent. 85% off until December 24th in the UK and Europe, and December 17th in North America. And that's it for this week's roundup. I hope you found something you liked during these Black Friday sales. There were so many games over the week or so that were definitely worth picking up. Just a quick reminder that if you enjoyed any of the videos recently and found any games to buy, remember to subscribe. I'm getting pretty close to 1,000 subs now. I targeted to hit this by Christmas when I first started. And with that out of the way, drop a like, let me know in the comments how the backlog is looking. And yeah, thanks for watching, stay cozy, and I'll see you around.